Jamie Carragher has warned Chelsea that Christopher Nkunku will need time to adapt and prove himself in England before he can be deemed as the answer to Mauricio Pochettino's goal-scoring problems. The Blues had only scored 13 times in 10 games in the league ahead of the trip to Tottenham on Monday and have struggled to finish chances once more. It has been a consistent problem for the club in recent years, with no striker getting more than 15 goals since Tammy Abraham in 2019-20 and Diego Costa still the last man to net 20 in a season. That promised to change this term, though, when Nkunku was signed from RB Leipzig. The 25-year-old has been one of the most informed players in Europe since 2020 and got 35 goal contributions in the 2021-22 campaign. He backed that up with another 16 goals in Germany last year as well, despite missing over 3 months due to injury. The woes up front for Chelsea have spanned the tenures of Antonio Conte, Maurizio Sarri, Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, and are already impacting Pochettino now after Nicholas Jackson's underwhelming start. The current first choice netted just twice in his first 9 league games, and they came against Lowerly Luton and Burnley. It had been expected that Nkunku would come straight into the side to be an immediate upgrade and point of difference for the Blues, but he is yet to make a competitive debut, having been ruled out for around 4 months during preseason. The French forward suffered a massive blow in the final game of the Tour of America and is finally closing in on making a first appearance. Carragher, however, has urged some caution over what to expect from Nkunku with injury and time to get up to speed needed before he can be a true match day. When analyzing the choices that Premier League sides have at center forward, it was Jackson and Nkunku at the bottom of the list, with just 2 goals between them. Only Rasmus Højlund at Manchester United has gone goalless of the teams picked out, he said. Christopher Nkunku, there is no doubt of his quality, but he's still not proven in the Premier League. It was difficult to know what to make of Chelsea's match against Tottenham. It was a comprehensive win, but not one that came easily and instead had a backdrop of long waits for VAR. Unlike many expected, for a long stretch, Spurs' 2 red cards far from killed the contest as Guillermo Vicario put in an outstanding performance in the home side's goal, while Chelsea were not polished enough to stay free from danger themselves. Fortunately, a late Nicholas Jackson hat-trick, it wasn't too nervous an end to the game, though had Eric Dier's goal been allowed, there would have been a few more grey hairs in the Chelsea dugout. Football.London takes a look at the talking points to arise from Chelsea's win over their London rivals below. There were moments at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where it felt like everyone had turned up to wait and watch VAR rather than an intense London derby. More than 20 minutes were added in stoppages, the bulk of which came from decisions being reviewed. The first period in particular felt dominated by Stockley Park's influence and sometimes the lack of it, as Tottenham's intense start was interrupted. Initially, Destiny Udogi's 2-footed lunge, that was similar in many respects to Malo Gusto's challenge against Aston Villa, although he didn't quite catch Raheem Sterling, was reviewed before no further action was taken. Next, Chelsea saw a goal ruled out, correctly admittedly, as Sterling handled the ball before it eventually went into that net. However, while that was looked at, Levi Colwill and Christian Romero lay on the floor at the opposite end of the pitch, and the latter's kick out was not looked at all. Following that came a stoppage that felt like it went on longer than the 45 minutes of the first half, but did at least span 7 minutes after Moises Caicedo found the net from outside of the box. Jackson was judged to have interfered with the goalkeeper's line of sight, having stood. 2 challenges were then assessed before that moment, as it was decided Sterling was not felled by a tackle before Romero followed through his tackle on Enzo Fernandez and was brandished a red card. That lengthy wait, combined with a lively crowd, did not put off Cole Palmer from dispatching his penalty with a cool ease before covering lips with finger to infuriate the supporters behind the goal, who were already riled by VAR. Moises Caicedo has poked fun at Tottenham Hotspur following Chelsea's dramatic 4-1 win over the Lilywhites. The 22-year-old midfielder played a crucial role for the Blues on Monday night as Mauricio Pochettino ended Ange Postecoglou's unbeaten start to the Premier League campaign. Tottenham have now lost top spot, with Manchester City leading the title race once again. Meanwhile, Chelsea have clambered back into the top half of the table, and they're now just 3 points from a European qualification place. After the game, Caicedo marked the West Londoners' triumphant win with a celebratory post on Instagram. The Ecuador international posted 6 images, 3 of which included Spurs players sprawled out on the floor in his wake, and wrote, "Vamos." Unsurprisingly, Chelsea fans loved the midfielder's post, and they also enjoyed poking fun at Tottenham in the comments section. The likes of Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, and Robert Sanchez also showed their support for Caicedo too, with various messages of support. Speaking post-match, Pochettino heaped praise on his players for remaining disciplined as chaos ensued in North London. Caicedo was a pillar in the Chelsea side, conducting play and shielding the backline from Tottenham attacks. The Blues boss said, "We are building something there, but we need time and to come to the leader against a team that was full of confidence and after to concede because we started the game really bad, very sloppy, and we cannot connect. We were very nervous, and then how reacts the team? They deserve all of the credit, the players, of course, and the team, and I think we were calm after because we start to create chances and force them to make the mistake, and then we get the goal, and I think after the control was there." Raheem Sterling has revealed that he's prepared to follow in Chelsea hero Eden Hazard's footsteps and retire once he's no longer enjoying football. The former Chelsea and Real Madrid star was left without a club this season after his contract at the Santiago Bernabeu was terminated a year ahead of schedule. Despite reportedly receiving as many as 6 contract offers following his departure, Hazard decided to hang up his boots. In a heartfelt statement on his official Instagram account, the Blues legend paid tribute to the great managers, coaches, and teammates he worked with during his career and planned to enjoy his free time with loved ones. Hazard later admitted in an interview with Spanish publication Marca that he fell out of love with the beautiful game during his final season at Real Madrid. The former Belgium international said, "It is never easy to make a decision like that, but I am not going to say that was difficult. It is something that I had reflected on a lot. I had the support of people who know me and who know that I really want to do other things with my life outside of football. Last season was complicated, and when I left the national team, I already had everything thought out. I no longer enjoyed going to training, and as I played less, it became more complicated. I wouldn't play anywhere for money. I'm 32 years old, and I have a whole life ahead of me to enjoy away from the playing fields." Speaking to Sky Sports ahead of Chelsea's clash against Tottenham on Monday night, Sterling sympathized with Hazard and revealed that he would take similar action if he no longer enjoyed professional football. The 28-year-old winger said, "I'm like Hazard as well. Chelsea co-owner Todd Boehly missed out on one of the world's brightest talents this summer. Chelsea may have took their spending under Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital to over £1 billion, but a recent survey indicates they may regret missing out on Club Brugge star Antonio Nusa. The Blues were completely overhauled their squad in the space of 12 months with 26 permanent signings made. A 27th signing was wanted heading into deadline day this summer as Boehly targeted a late move for Nusa. But the teenager didn't want to make the move at this stage of his career, opting to remain in Belgium. He said, "I already knew that it wasn't going to happen, but then the money came on the table. Then it's seen in a slightly different way. We had to have another conversation when the money arrived, but we were on the same page, so there was no problem there. I knew what to do anyway, so it was fine." Nusa burst onto the scene with Club Brugge last year, becoming the second youngest player ever to score in the Champions League at the age of 17 years and 149 days. And the attacker has already earned a call-up to the senior setup with Norway. Scoring on his international debut in July against Jordan Nusa may still be relatively unknown to many Chelsea fans due to the lack of availability to watch him in action. But Boehly clearly saw something special in the winger, and a new piece of data published by CIES Football Observatory backs that up. The survey looks at the best young dribblers in world football, and Nusa comes out on top by some margin. No player under the age of 23 is said to average more dribbles per 90 minutes than Nusa, who achieves nearly 11 dribbles a match. In comparison, Arsenal star Gabriel Martinelli doesn't even average half that amount on the same list. Nusa's index score is off the charts compared to others as well, the combination of successful dribbles as well as the level of opponents faced.